And welcome to Naughty Notes and also financial literacy. Well, we've been talking a lot about taxes in the last few days, and we're going to have a look at property taxes. Yes, those are the taxes that you pay, well, for the privilege of owning a property and all the benefits that come from that. Now, we're going to use an example here. I've made a simulated tax bill up here. Right there, Municipality of Anchorage, our home. And okay, who am I kidding? Those are my numbers, but I scrambled the rest of the data. So let's see how Timmy Taxpayer comes out here. We're going to learn a few things. We'll learn about a mill rate, and we've got some calculations to do. So let's get to it. All right. First, I blocked this out. I made this in purple so we can talk about this. We've got a list of mill rates. Look at that, 0.18716. I have no idea. Well, okay, if I add 1, 2, 3, if I add these guys together, I'm going to get that 16.36. So that's the total. That's all we know so far. We have to figure out what a mill rate is. Now, you could read this definition from the internet, or you could just think about common sense stuff. Well, you've all handled a ruler. Well, we use SAE units, but we also use metric. If this is a centimeter, the distance between, we chop that into tenths, and these become millimeters. Milli. And we know that it sounds like it's got something to do with 1,000. Now, I look at these place values. You'll learn this way back in school. Remember, this is a math class, primarily. I got this big dot there for the decimal point, and I've got these placeholders. Out in the front, you've got the ones place. This is the tenths with that TH. This is the hundredths. This is the thousandths place, the 10,000ths, the 100,000ths, etc., etc., etc. Just like in The King and I. Remember that. All right. Now, let's look at one of these numbers. I'm going to take that 0.18. Now, imagine if I put that 0.18 in the thousandths place. Now, you could just take that 0.18, move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places, because that would be multiplying it by 1,000th. But I kind of like this, so you get a visual on it. Now, let's see how we did this. Oh, owner occupied. Oh, wait, hang on, buddy boy. You're getting way ahead of yourself. So let's do some calculations. I'm going to need a calculator. Anybody got one? Oh, I got one right here. Ooh, yeah, I think I can get by with a little 4-banger. And that's all we need. Because this is going to be easy squeezy. Let's take that, well, first off, sorry, getting ahead of myself. I've got this property valuation of $286,000. $286,000. Hey, that's below the median price in Anchorage. Must be a good deal. Maybe it's a dump. I don't know. Hey, that's my house. So let's put that number in there. 286. 1, 2, 3, 286,000. Come to think of it, I want the bigger functioning calculator because I want this. Let's use the memory. Memory clear to make sure there's nothing in it. And now we're going to hit the M plus. Now that means I've stored the number 286,000 into the memory. Right? Easy enough. I'm going to multiply this times 0.00018. Ready? 0.00018. And that tells me that my tax liability, or the distribution as they like to call it in these fancy terms, is going to be that. Hey, I like how this is going. So let's do that again. Let's move this guy out of here, and let's take the next rate. Heavens to Murgatroyds, that's the schools. ASD, For those of you watching from outside, that's Anchorage School District. That's where the big bucks go. So now, if it's 7.16 thousandths, I'm going to write it this way, 0.00716. Let me get that calculator out again. I'm going to clear that, go back to my memory. See, pretty handy, huh? Times 0.00716 equals, heavens to Murgatroyds, 2,000 bucks. Look at that, that's a lot of money. So we're going to scroll that down here. Yikes. Well, this bill, yeah, you can see this is starting to add up. Well, that does look, I mean, you can tell that's the biggest slice, but let's keep going. Because after all, we're math students. Let's take 232. If I look at it this way, that's 2.32 thousandths, right? I guess we're getting the hang of this. Clear that sucker out there, and I'm going to say memory, and I'm going to multiply times 0.00232 equals. All right, 663, and let's see, we're going to move that down here. Oh, we're really doing okay. So you kind of got some momentum now, huh? 2 61/100ths. Pull up our calculator again. Let's clear it. And we'll put in our memory. And I'm going to multiply times 0.00261 equals $746. Okay, well, let's slide that down. Missed. And there you go. That's for our roads. Hey, everybody likes roads, huh? And let's get rid of this. And we're going to 343. What was that for? That's for the police. Or as they sometimes say, the police. So let's pull out our calculator one more time. Well, we'll be pulling it out a few more times. And we're going to hit memory. 286,000 times 0.00343 equals 980. Just shy of 981. All right. We'll do this. Slide that down. So lucky I haven't made a mistake yet. All right. How about these? How about the parks? Hey, the parks don't get much. Why do we live up here in Alaska? We love the parks, but apparently they don't cost that much. So let's go to memory, and I'm going to multiply times 0.00066 equals $188.76. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we can slide that down. Now, the last number in this figure, we could add up all these distributions. And honestly, we could do that. And we can compare that to taking this sum, 286,000, times the total mill rate. But we're going to do that because, why? Because, well, I kind of feel like it. I'm going to actually have to change the place value a little bit here. Let's knock out one of those zeros because heavens to Murgatroyds, it's 16.36. It goes in there. Oh, so let's grab that calculator. And we are going to do this again. And that's memory times 0.0163 Now, some of you are probably looking at that number and saying, golly, that's actually pretty close to 1.6%, and you'd be right. So roughly 1.6% of the value of your house. Now let's hit the equal sign there. And there's your tax bill, $4,678.96. That's a lot of cents. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to pull this down. That's our tax bill. Not bad, huh? Well, I guess we get a lot for it. And I think on our forms, it appears over here. Now that's before exemptions. Whoa, sorry about that. Didn't mean to shock you. That's before exemptions, and we have a property tax exemption here for owner-occupied property. Do you live in your house? Yeah, you might think that's a silly question, but it's not, because maybe you're renting it out. Maybe it's a little bit of a business then. You don't get that exemption. You get an exemption, and that exemption is going to be 20% off the assessed value up to $50,000. So let's calculate this. I'm going to take my 20, well, that same number back in memory. Let's go back there. So we keep going back to the price of the, oh, I hit the clear. There's a mistake, 286,000. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I'm going to multiply it times 20%. 20% is 0.2. And I get 57,200. Now, I'm all excited to take that 20% deduction, but wait a minute, Charlie, look what it says there. Up to $50,000. So the limits on the exemption is going to be $50,000. And it sounds, that's just like you get excited to hear that in a tax break. Well, $50,000. No, you don't have $50,000 in your pocket. It means it's $50,000 off the value of the house. Let's have a look at what that. Well, let's just do this. So that's this much. Now I'm going to subtract 50,000 because 57,200 is in excess of the maximum of the limit for the deduction. So now we're seeing we get 236. We're going to take the value of 236,000 and we're going to calculate the property tax on that. Ready? Yeah, I know you are. I'm going to do it this way. Now, I could go down area-wide, ASD, fire, roads and drain, police, parks and recs. I could go in each of those calculations again, but I'm not going to, because the good folks making this property tax bill don't either. They calculate it this way at full rate, and then we're going to take the exemption at the end. So how do we do that? Well, let's just take the new value of the house, 236,000, not, as Jethro used to say, and I am going to multiply that times, oh, I'm covering it over there. There's my mill rate, the one on the bottom, district totals, 0.01636. And what I'm going to get? $3,860.96. Now, hang on to that number, 3,000. So when you are doing this assignment, now if you're in my class, if you're not in my class, you just had some fun looking at how our taxes are figured out here. And since majority of you aren't even in this country, you'll say, well, that's how they do it in America. Well, that's how we do it in Alaska, and most other states are similar to this. So let's if you're in my class though, you have to come up with these numbers. So that's my recalculated number, the $3,860.96. Now, I can take that number. Well, I could calculate the discount there, that $818. I can calculate that myself. Well, okay, I guess we should do it because, after all, this is a math class. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to subtract it well, let me just do this. I'm going to flip the sign. And then I'm going to add 4,678.96. And you can see that, in fact, my discount was $818. I mean, that's a lot of money, $818. Now, hey, there's another thought I had here. Let's go back to this number. Let's go back to this number, 3860.96. And you say, remember how many months there are in a year? Because maybe you're thinking of it this way. Next time you're paying next time you pay rent, think about the person paying property tax. You know, a lot of people say that everyone pays it. You say, well, I rent. Yeah, but you're renting from somebody who's paying property tax. They're probably passing it down onto you. Check this out. This tax bill, divide by 12. Look at that. $321 a month. Well, it's closer to $322. $322 a month. So that means your bills, not even touching your food, your car, your gasoline, your utilities, not even your mortgage, just your property tax. $321 every month, $322. That's a lot of money. Now, is it worth it? Yeah, I think so. I kind of like these things. I kind of like having roads and fire department and look at that one, schools. You know, this is such a good idea for an assignment. You know, we're going to do 2 assignments here. Now, if anybody was just hanging on here, you're just watching because you thought this was fun, well, you can stick around, but now I'm going to give you an assignment. Take everything you learned here, and you're going to calculate. You are going to calculate for a different property. You're going to calculate all these numbers in this column, calculate the total, the tax, and then take away figure out the discount, and come up with your final tax bill for your property tax. This ought to be fun. And then we're going to make a pie chart to see how this is distributed, to see what it looks like, because a pie chart's really cool. That'll be fun. So let's move on to stage 2. Okay, stage 2. I changed it just a little bit and made this Sally student, and well, it can be your name. And now we're saying Sally here. Sally owns a condo. Sally owns a condo and which is of course valued at a little bit less, $187,000. Maybe she's a college student. She's decided that it's time to. It's worth her while to make payments and try to gain some equity. Figure out how much Sally makes or Sally pays in property tax. So now you've got everything you needed before. The mill rates are all the same. I want you to calculate these mill rates. Boom, boom, right down here. Remember, you're starting with the $187,000. You'll figure these all out. Then you're going to figure out what Sally's owner-occupied deduction is. 20%, remember. And then you'll figure out her new property tax bill. All right. Now, I'm looking forward to you getting those done and turning those in. Now, a little question about how to turn them in. I was going to put this on some kind of Google Docs sheet or something, but there's so many things that can go wrong. You can sketch something similar to this, or sketch out these. I need at least these words, the mill rates. I want to see all the numbers that you've calculated. And I want to see what the tax or what the property tax was before the deduction and then after the deduction. Because you don't want to short Sally. And so let's get that done, and you can turn that in. Maybe you're doing it on paper by hand. Take a picture, scan it, and send it in Canvas. This is, of course, the year of the COVID. If you're watching this on a subsequent year, well, shoot, I'll give you a blank one and you just fill it in. But of course, we're doing everything by distance this year. Really kind of weird, isn't it? All right. Now for the fun part. It's time to make some pie. Now, it would be really neat if we made a pie chart to see what percentage all of these items were, or how it looks. Now, let's say. Now, I'm going to give instructions for making a manual pie chart. meaning that you got a compass and a protractor. Because, of course, this class is being taught, well, it's taught remotely. If I knew, if I had the same program as you, we could just do this on a spreadsheet. That'd be kind of cool. And I'll show you in class how to do it on a spreadsheet, so you can send it in that way as well. But this is fun. This is the manual way, and this is actually a little bit better because there's a lot more math. Remember, this is a math class. Now, if you have a compass, this is great because you put the needle down. You need that center. You need the center, and then you're going to give it a spin, and that's going to be you're just going to make a nice big circle. And then we're going to pick a random. You're just going to pick a random point and just draw a segment like that. Doesn't really matter where. But now we're going to calculate how big these slivers are. Now this is actually kind of fun because there's a lot of good math in here. So, oh, yeah, I forgot something there. Hang on, where'd they all go? All right. Well, kind of spoiled the surprise there, but all right. We're going to make a couple calculations. First off, 0.18 is to, 16.36 as x is to 360. That's using a proportion. Now, I've already left the answers up there. That's a little bit of a mistake, but yeah, it's okay. Now, if you are using a proportion, see, we're trying to use different math skills here. You would take your 360 and you're going to multiply times 0.18. And then you're going to take that product and divide by 16.36. And there you go. As close as I can see. Honestly, if you can measure within 1 degree, you're doing pretty darn good. So we're going to say that guy is about, that's about 4 degrees. 4 degrees, really small. Remember, the vertex, in this case, the protractor, the vertex is there. Some protractors, it's on the bottom. Some protractors, it's here. On this particular one, your protractor's right here, and you're going to read 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, gosh, this is 5. 4 is like way inside here. This is going to be a hard one to do, and it would be skinny like that. You got to put a little mark on where that 4 is. I'm going to move this thing out of the way. Yikes, maybe that wasn't the best one to start off on. So that gives us a little sector, and normally we name them, but that one's just a little tiny sliver. That's going to be pretty hard. Let's take the next one. Now, you could do this method, proportion, or you could do this. Now, this has got a benefit, and you'll see that in a minute. Oops, let's take that calculator. I could say 7.16, I could just leave the decimals out, but I'll be honest. Divide by 16.36 equals. Now the advantage of doing it this way is that gives you a percent. See, that's roughly 44%, 0.437 to the nearest hundredth, 0.44, 44%. Keep that number in your head, 44. Then I'm going to multiply that times 360. And I've got 157.5, I'll go 158 degrees. So, the Anchorage School District, 44%. But 158 degrees, that's a lot of degrees. Now you're going to put this thing on there. You're going to rotate it. Oh boy, how did I build this thing? Like that. And now you got to go see where is that. That's 150 is way out there. Make sure you're reading the correct side. And this particular protractor ascends counterclockwise on the outside. And then I can say that's 55 is here. And then tick, 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 1, 2, 3. And it looks like it's right around 55, 6, 7, 8. Right there, as close as we can measure. Nicely done. Oops. And I'm getting lost here, so let's see. Yeah, there it is. Nice. move my protractor out of the way, and I'm going to call that, I'm going to put down there ASD. For all of you that are outside the state, and that stands for Anchorage School District. That's us. That's paying all you rich teachers. Love it. So let's figure out another one. Let's do the next one, 2.32. Now watch this. I'm going to skip the decimals because you really can't. I could just say 232 divided by 1636, right? I mean, it's going to be the same thing. 0.14, which is 14%. Keep that, remember that, 14%, times 360. That's going to be 51 degrees, just like I got there. And let's see. Oh, wrong one. I guess I'm down here somewhere. Yikes. Yeah. Oh, there it is. So fire is going to be 14%. We will represent 14% of 360 is 51 degrees. So now you got to take your protractor. Now you got to spin it around and give it a right around there. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, maybe a little bit. All right. And let's count it. Now, the numbers don't spin so well. 60's over here, 50's over here, so 51 looks like it's about there. Gosh, is that right? I think it is. So let's see, draw that out. Beautiful. Look at that, even with a simulated protractor. He's fire. This guy's on fire. All right. Whew. All right, we got a changing of the guards here. Let's clean out these guys and let's bring in the new set of actors, the new set of numbers, and we'll blast through this, and then you'll be very happy. And again, you notice I like doing this without the decimals. 261 divided by 1636 equals 15.9, or closest number, 16%. 16%, keep that in mind, times 360. This means 16% of 360 is 57.4 degrees. So let's put that in there. Or wait, I said 57. So we're going for the roads because everybody loves roads. No kidding. Up here, people love the roads. Now, for those of you outside the state, you'll know you got a joke in Alaska that there's two seasons. There's winter and construction. All right. Well, the guys who live here know that one. So 57 degrees. Oh boy, I kind of lost where my 60 is because it didn't rotate. Well, hang on. Let me figure this out. Yeah, I think this one is 60 right here. So I would start at 60 and I just go back, tick, 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 go back 2. And it looks like it's going to be about there. Let's see how I did on my simulation. Boom, shakalaka, as they like to say. And that's going to be roads. Nicely done on the roads. And let's see, what do we got next? Oh yeah, we can do this. I'm going to take 343, divide by 1636 equals. I don't remember that. Is that right? I guess it was, but yeah, wait a minute. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Oh no, I guess it could be. That could be right. 21%. Yeah, I guess that's right. 21% times 360. 75 degrees, just about 75 and a half. Boy, all this rounding, you could end up having more than, having 361 or so degrees to 359. But honestly, how good can you measure? I know, plus or minus 1 degree, that's where my students need to be. So, shoot, I didn't write that down. Yeah, for the police, as we like to say. You notice I made it blue. No coincidence there. And giving them a little blue. Give some love to the police. Those guys have a rough job. I mean, people say teachers have a rough job. Yeah, not even close. 75. So if this is the 60, 70, 75 is going to be way up here. Wow. Is that right? Make sure I got these numbers right. Yeah, the 60 is right there. So 70 and 5 right there. And go ahead and, oh, I messed up. There you go. There's our boys in blue. And that's going to be the police. Now, we can measure this one, the last one. And the last one's just going to, now, I hope it comes out right. Let's verify that. And we'll do a calculation for parks. I wish we paid more attention to the parks. I'll take my 66 and I'm going to divide by 1636. And that's going to equal, 4%. I've heard of 1% for arts. I guess we got 4% for parks. And then we'll multiply times 360. 4% of 360. Oh, it's 14.5 degrees. Well, that's not so bad. That makes me feel better about the parks. Oops. Wait a minute. There it is. So parks, 4%. And if I move this thing out, oh, I should look to see if I've got 15 degrees there. Now I can do anything about it. Oh, actually, check this out. This is 10, 15. Boom, shakalaka. We're in the money. So there you go. And I would put the little parks in there. And I think I made a little decal, a little bit of green there. And there you go. So if you got to do this by hand, I think that's a lot of fun. If that's what you're going to need to do if you want the varsity points for this assignment. And if you want to be JV or C team, you can just do the other page. So let's make sure you do something fun. Do this. If you don't have a compass, well, maybe you can trace it. Trace around an object. You got to find the center somehow. But if you don't have those instruments, then do it electronically. If you know how to use spreadsheet, some of those various programs, and we'll go over that in class. After all, this is just the recorded version, and this is for all of you, well, who missed it, or maybe for some of you who are watching from another state. Well, in any event, this is our venture off into financial literacy, and in the year of the COVID. So I hope you all enjoy this lesson. Maybe you learned something, and I'll just say, have a good day, and we'll see you in class.